Welcome to episode 11 of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. My name is Ken Van Camp. I'm the narrator and flunky of this podcast, working under the whip of the author and ruler of this project, Keke. In each episode, Keke presents a dog's perspective on life and growing up in the human world. In this episode, we'll hear about the return of the monster with yellow eyes, the Nemesis of Dragontooth. And we'll find out whether Keke and Ken will work out their differences or if Keke will go her own way. And finally, we'll hear about Keke's first experience at the dog park. In this episode, we present lessons 33 through 35 from Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. I hope you enjoy it as we start with Lesson 33, Dragontooth Meets Her Nemesis, Part 2, An Uneasy Détente. In Lesson 31, Keke met her nemesis, a monster in the garage with yellow eyes. Then, one night, a storm moved in, followed quickly by the monster who took up residence in the back bedroom. It was my friend, Mousey, who first ID'd the intruder.
"There's a cat in the house,"
he said. Aha, I thought. I had heard of cats, but never seen one before. Are cats bad?
"The worst. They bring bad luck to every house they inhabit. And they stalk helpless mice and tear them limb from limb."
Something had to be done. Mousey suggested using himself as a decoy to lure the monster outside, but it was too risky. No, this job was for my alter ego Dragontooth, queen of the unmowed jungle. Dragontooth scared it off once. She could do it again, but first I had to find its lair. While stalking the wilds of my home turf, my three weapons were surprise, fear, and my razor-sharp wit. I crept from room to room, peering into tight corners, behind boxes, and under furniture. It wasn't until I looked up that I saw the brute sprawled on a high window ledge. As my gaze met those demonic yellow eyes, it yawned and smiled back. I assessed my adversary. The animal was enormous, its brown, black, and yellow-striped body extending over the edge of the shelf. "Cats are cruel and evil," I said. "You need to leave." I gave my most menacing articulation.
"What was that?"
the cat asked.
"A little puppy growl? How cute!"
Its whole body shook with its haughty, sardonic laugh.
"Cats aren't bad,"
it continued, extending a paw to reveal a set of long claws sharpened for battle.
"We just get a bum rap because we know how to defend ourselves."
Defend? Is that what you did to those lizards in the garage? The cat explained it had gone many days without proper food.
"Normally, I prefer Meow Mix salmon blend, but when there's nothing but reptiles in the pantry, you have to make do."
What kind of cat are you? I asked. Jaguar? Puma?
"Tabby."
I lacked the advantage of surprise and fear, but I still had my biting wit. Observing its substantial girth, I asked, "More like the entire tabernacle choir, eh?" The cat looked away and rubbed its face on the window frame. I regretted the remark almost immediately. Could Mousey be wrong? Could some cats be okay? Was my head filled with superstitions and preconceived notions born of fear?
"I hear you have beef with the humans here,"
the cat finally said. I nodded. The male human totally hijacked my blog. A blank stare. "And look at this awful haircut they gave me." The tabby narrowed its eyes.
"That's it? A blog and a haircut?"
"Well, there's other things, too. I can't remember them all right now," the cat said.
"From where I'm sitting, you have it pretty good here. A roof over your head, a full bowl of victuals, front row seats for Homeward Bound."
What right did this hissing dragon have giving me advice? But then, I had been wrong about other things today. I'll think about it,
I'll make you a deal.
the cat said.
How about you leave me alone in the back bedroom and you can have the rest of the house?
It's calling for a truce, a sure sign of weakness. I still wasn't sure I could trust it, but I agreed to its terms for now. Lesson 34, The Spirit of Compromise. Working out your differences. It was Ken who initiated the conversation. Keke, I think we should discuss your recent blogs. I understand you have some concerns. Concerns? You bet your coveted little opposing thumbs I have concerns. What was your first clue? Maybe the way I shredded your tissue limb from limb until it was an unrecognizable pile of pulp? Yep, I replied. You don't like the short leash you're kept on. I was thinking we have a longer retractable leash that we haven't used much because you were too small to pull it out. But I think you're getting to be a big puppy now. Should we give it a try? A meager attempt at appeasement, but let's see how he does on the big-ticket items. Yep. And you said something about not liking the harness, but you have to understand it's for your own good. The doctor said a regular collar could choke you if the leash is pulled. Do you understand? Maybe we could take the harness off more between walks. Would that help? Now we're getting somewhere. Yep. I understand you're not happy with the haircuts we've been giving you. And how? It looks like you stuck a bowl over my head and cut around it, which is pretty much how it went down. Yep. Well, you'll be happy to know that you're old enough now to have the groomer give you a proper haircut. We have an appointment for your first session this week, and we'll see how well you tolerate it. Does that sound okay? About time. Yep. As for peeing outside, I'm afraid that's what puppies do. Ask any of them. There have to be some alternatives when the winter snow arrives. And since we live in Florida, the worst you have to deal with is a little rain. Oh, is that what's up with all the geckos? I thought maybe we were living in an insurance commercial. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? You bet your sweet nethers there is. Grrr. Okay, I think I know what else is bothering you. Is it about me changing one of your blog posts a few weeks ago? And Bingo was his name. Maybe you're not as dumb as your nearly hairless body looks. Yep. Yeah, I understand. I shouldn't have done that without consulting you, and I apologize. I understand you're the principal author of this blog, and I won't do it again. I suppose that'll do. So, are we good? Yep. Great. I have one request for you. Do you think when you're talking about me in your blog, instead of calling me your male human, maybe you could call me Daddy sometimes instead? I don't have to think too long because he's falling right into my trap, sliding down the slippery slope of no return. See Lesson 29, Divide and Conquer, in which I discuss the benefits of having humans who call themselves Mommy and Daddy. Yep. And instead of your female human, you could say Mommy sometimes? Slip sliding away. Yep. Great. And with that, Daddy picked me up and told me he loved me. And I licked him. And then Mommy joined, and I licked her too. I have to agree there's no need for me to hail a taxi right now, or an Uber, or to move in with the cute golden doodle down the block. I'm living in a pretty good place already. Lesson 35, The Dog Park Massacre. Fly, Keke, fly. The day begins with a ride in the car, ears flapping, tongue hanging out, tail wagging at the passing cars with their dogs inside. How could it get more perfect? We're going to the dog park, they say. Wait, what? A place to park your dog? Did you say it has puppies? I love puppies. I can imagine a whole park full of puppies waiting to play with me. We pull up. Look, puppies everywhere. Let me see, 8, 9, 10, about 100. 3 of them see me coming and run to the gate to greet me even before we enter. A welcoming committee. How nice. Hey, look, one of them says, a new kid. The Mongol hordes descend. They sniff my nose, they sniff my butt, they sniff my whole body from left and right, inside and out. They come from all directions to greet me with extended snouts, not a leash in sight. I love attention, but this is too much at once. Just back off. Give me a minute. Introduce yourselves, please, one at a time. I do submission asana, flat on my back, paws extended. They don't speak yoga. I tap out, but they don't talk judo either. They step on my ears, my stomach, my legs. Ow, ow, ow! Breaking free, I turn tail and run. Legs without limits, paws without pause. I am wide receiver A.J. Brown running for the goal line. I cross the 15, the 10, the 5. I am at the 2-yard line, exit gate in sight when they nail me. Dogs of every size pile on. Beagles, corgis, schnauzers, labradoodles, even a dachshund. It was the best of times. It was the worst. Somewhere at the bottom of the pile lies Keke, a tale of humility, a tale of misery, a puppy tale of mud. But no flag thrown on the play. The referees aren't watching. Munkle, I cry from somewhere on the bottom of the pile. Met these mutts muffer me. Nobody hears. Nobody cares. After what feels like hours, I hear the distant muffle of human voices. Smelly snouts and probing paws are pried away from my bruised body. Finally, I smell familiar hands as Dad wrestles me from the bottom of the pile. Get me out of here, I whimper. I never want to see another puppy again as long as I live. Just give me my quiet, safe home with Mommy and Daddy and my squeaky mousey toy. Sniff, sniff. Thank you for listening to this episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. I'm Ken Van Camp, and I hope you've enjoyed this performance. If so, please rate it and leave feedback. You can post feedback on our Facebook page or email. The links are in the episode description. We are dropping a new episode of Keke's podcast every weekend on all major podcast apps as well as on YouTube. Make sure you follow Keke's Guide so you'll be notified as each episode becomes available. So, will Dragontooth and her nemesis be able to peacefully coexist? And will Keke ever agree to go to another dog park again? Be sure to join us for the next episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human and find out. Because dogs are people too, you know?